It's been a long time since you heard from Maharaj. We were eagerly anticipating Maharaj's visit to come to our new location in 2019, and hopefully, we hoped in 2020 that would happen. But Krishna obviously had other plans thanks to this wonderful thing called COVID. So we are very fortunate that Maharaj will be joining us today on Zoom. Before Maharaj joins us and begins his class, we want to set an auspicious environment here on Zoom. So we're going to chant mantras to make this, to get us into the right spirit before Maharaj joins us here in the next 20 minutes or so. So we'll get started by reciting the Brahma Samhita prayers, which will be led by Vaikuntesha Balaji Prabhu. If you have a link, maybe Ramaji Prabhu, we can post a link to the Brahma Samhita prayers in the chat, so devotees can chant along with it. We will not be sharing screen of the prayers at this time, so you can chant at your own homes. After Brahma Samhita prayers, we will chant Narsingha Kavacha prayers, and then we will get ready for class. Hare Krishna. Vaikuntesha Balaji Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll start with Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Bharavatan Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvana Madhya Vanshi Ratanangadam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Yata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sada Ujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Dullabham Adullabham Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Munipungavanam Swapyasti Yat Prapadasimnya Avichintya Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopyasau Rachayitum Jagadanda Kotim Yachaktirasti Jagadanda Yachadyadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yadbhava Bhavitatiyo Manujastataiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusha Sukte Yameva Nigama Pratitaistuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhes Tabirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena Santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti Yam shama sundaramachintya gunaswarupam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Ramadimurtishu kalani yamena tishtan Nanavataram bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat parama pumanyo Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadandakoti Kotishvashesha vasudadi vibhuti pinnam Tad brahmanishkalamanantamashesha bhutam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Maya hiyasya jagadanda shatani sute Traigunyatad vishaya veda vitayamana Sattvalam viparasatvam vishuddha sattvam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manaso Yah pranina pratipalam smaratamupetya Lila itena bhuvanani jayatyajasram Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Golokanamni nijadamni tale chatasya Devi mahesha harida masuteshu teshu Te te prabhava nichaya vihitaschayena Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Shrishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shaktireka Chayeva yasya bhuvanani vivarti durga Ichanurupamapi yasya chacheshtate sa Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Kshiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha yogat Sanjayate nahi tata prithagasti heto Yah sambhutamapi tata samupaiti karyat Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Deeparchireva hidashantaramabhavyupetya Deepayate vivratahetu samanadharma Yastadrigeva hicha vishnutaya vipati Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yah karanandavajale bhajati sma yoga Nidramananta jagadanda saroma kupa Adara shakti mavalambya param swamurtim Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yasyaika nishvasita kalamathavalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Basvanyatashma shakaleshu nijeshu teja Srityam kiyat prakatayatyapitatvatatra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidana karta Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भ द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये स गणाधिराजा विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्महि गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेष सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजा यस्याज्ञया ब्रह्मति सम्भ्रतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोत्थपापनिचय श्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीर्तपतगावतयश्च जीवा यद्दत्तमात्र विभव प्रकट प्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्त्व इन्द्रगोपमथवेन्द्रमहो स्वकर्म मन्दानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहज प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोह गुरुगौरवसेव्यभावै सचिन्त्य तस्य सदृशं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। जय श्री राधा कृष्ण की जय।
Thank you so much. We will now chant the Nashinga Kavacha.
Hare Krishna. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Nrisimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityurnamamyaham Nrisimha Kavacham Bhakshe Prahladenoditam Pura Sarvarakshakaram Punyam Sarvopatravanashanam Sarvasampatkaram Chaiva Swargamokshapradaikam ध्यात्वा नृसिंहं देवेशं हेमसिंहासनस्थितं विवृतास्यं त्रिनयनं शरदिन्दुसमप्रभं लक्ष्म्यारिङ्गितवामाङ्गं विभूतिभिरुपाश्रितं चतुर्भुजं कोमलाङ्गं स्वर्णकुण्डलशोभितं सरोजशोभितोरस्कं रत्नकेयूरमुद्रितं तप्तकाञ्चनसङ्काशं पीतनिर्मलवाससं इन्द्राणीसुरमौढिस्थः स्फुरन्माणिक्यदीप्तिभिः विराजितपदद्वन्द्वं शङ्खचक्रादिहेतिभिः गरुत्मता च विनयात् स्तूयमानं मुदान्वितं स्वहृत्कमलसंवासं कृत्वा तु कवचं पठेत् नृसिंहो मे शिरः पातु लोकरक्षार्थसम्भवः सर्वगोपीस्तम्भवासः फलं मे रक्षतु ध्वनिं नृसिंहो मे दुशौ पातु सोमसूर्याग्निलोचनः स्मृतं मे पातु नु हरिः मुनिवार्यास्तिप्रियः नासं मे सिंहनाशस्तु मुखं लक्ष्मीमुखप्रियः सर्वविद्याधिपः पातु नृसिंहो रसनं मम वक्त्रं पातु इन्दुवदनं सदा प्रह्लादवन्दितः नृसिंहः पातु मे कण्ठं स्कन्दो भूभृत् अनन्तकृत् दिव्यास्त्रशोभितभुजः नृसिंहः पातु मे भुजौ करौ मे देव वरदो नृसिंहः पातु सर्वतः हृदयं योगिसात्यश्च निवासं पातु मे हरिः मध्यं पातु हिरण्याक्ष वक्षकुक्षिविदारणः नाभिं मे पातु हरिः स्वनाभि ब्रह्म संस्थितः ब्रह्माण्डकोटयः यस्यासौ पातु मे कटिं गुह्यं मे पातु गुह्यानां मन्त्राणां गुह्यरूपधृक् पूर्वो मनोभवः पातु जानुनी नररूपधृक् जङ्घे पातु धराभरा हर्तायोऽसौ नुकेसरी सुरराजप्रदः पातु पादौ मे नृहरीश्वरः सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः पातु मे सर्वशस्तनुं मनोग्रहः पूर्वतः पातु महावीराग्रजोग्भितः महाविष्णुर्दक्षिणे तु महाद्वालस्तु नैऋतः पश्चिमे पातु सर्वेषु दिशि मे सर्वतोमुखः नृसिंहः पातु वायव्यां सौम्यां भूषणविग्रहः ईशान्यं पातु भद्रो मे सर्वमङ्गलदायकः संसारभयतः पातु मृत्युर्नृकेसरी इदं नृसिंहकवचं प्रह्लादामुखमण्डितं भक्तिमान्यः पठे नैत्यं सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते पुत्रवान् धनवान् लोके दीर्घायुरुपजायते यं यं कामयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोत्य संशयं सर्वत्र जयमाप्नोति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत् भूम्यन्तरिक्षदिव्यानां ग्रहाणां विनिवारणं वृश्चिकोरगसम्भूता विशापहरणं परं ब्रह्मराक्षसयक्षाणां दूरोत्सारणकारणं भुजे वा ताडपत्रे वा कवचं लिखितं शुभं करमूले धृतं येन सिद्ध्येयुः कर्मसिद्धयः देवासुरमनुष्येषु स्वं स्वमेव जयं लभेत् एकसन्ध्यं त्रिसन्ध्यं वा यः पठे नियतो नरः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं भुक्तिं मुक्तिं च विन्दति द्वात्रिंशतिसहस्राणि पठे शुद्धात्मनां नृणां कवचस्यास्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिप्रजायते अनेन मन्त्रराजेन कृत्वा भस्माभिर्मन्त्राणां तिलकं विन्यसेद्यस्तु तस्य ग्रहभयं हरेत् त्रिवारं जपमानस्तु दत्तं वार्याभिमन्त्र्य च प्रसयेद्यो नरो मन्त्रं नृसिंहध्यानमाचरेत् तस्य रोगः प्रणश्यन्ति एतस्युकुक्षिसम्भवाः गर्जन्तं गार्जयन्तं निजभुजपटलं स्फोटयन्तं हटन्तं रूप्यन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि तितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशते दिव्यसिंहं नमामि गर्जन्तं गार्जयन्तं निजभुजपटलं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं रूप्यन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि तितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशते दिव्यसिंहं नमामि ब्रह्माण्डपुराणे भगवान की जय प्रहलाद
महाराज की जय हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, thank you. We'll just do some kirtan for a few more minutes as we're waiting for Maharaj. Ramaji Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadishatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, 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 Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe.
Hi Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Maharaj is actually, all these proper disciples and senior Vaishnavas are so merciful that they try to give mercy to so many devotees at the same time. So Maharaj is actually another program right now in Baltimore that is running a little behind schedule. So Maharaj will be joining us in another 15 to 20 minutes or so. If there's any, Haridas Vayu Prabhu, are you on? While we're waiting, what we'll do, we have some more devotees who are going to be leading Kirtan, but they need a few more minutes. We'll just go ahead, if it's with your permission, go ahead and read the chapter 12 of the Bhagavad-Gita, which is titled Devotional Service. Srila Prabhupada often said that we should all be reading one chapter of Gita every day, and If those of you who do your chat every day, that's wonderful. If you don't do your chat every day, this is a good time to read along and get your chapter in for the day right now. Okay, just get started here in 1 minute. Arjuna Vacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhakta Swam Paryupasate Ye Chapi Aksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Vishamano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayo Petaste Me Yukta Tamamataha Ye Tva Aksharam Anirdesham Avyaktam Paryupasate सर्वत्रागमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थं मचलं ध्रुवं सनियाम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति माम् एव सर्वभूताहिते रतः क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवाप्तेरवाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यासमत्परः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसां मय्येव मन आधस्त्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवशिष्यसि मामेव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यसक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं तथा कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्त्यागच्छान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रकरुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर् यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षमर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनापेक्षशुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वरम्भापरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमां यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयो शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिर् भक्तिमां मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्मामृतम् इदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तस्तेऽतीव मे प्रियः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय जय I see Maharaj has also joined. There we go. Marge, is your audio working? We'll just do a quick test before we introduce yourself to make sure.
Is it clear now?
Yes, Marge, the audio is good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, and Hare Krishna to all devotees joining us for this very special Sunday program today. We are extremely honored and excited and feel very blessed to be in the virtual presence of His Holiness Vedvyas Priya Maharaj. Vedvyas Priya Maharaj has been practicing Krishna consciousness for almost 50 years now. Maharaj is a disciple of His Holiness of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj has had various services. He was very involved with the cultivation of particularly the local Indian community in New York, and has traveled extensively around the world in the past 50 years, sharing Krishna consciousness all over India, all over the US, in faraway places like Fiji as well. Maharaj has come to Austin many times. I'm very fortunate to have hosted him in our previous storefront a few times, and we were eagerly looking forward to hosting Maharaj at our temple in Round Rock, but we're still so excited to have Maharaj in our virtual Sangha today. And with that, Maharaj, we will hand it over to you, as we're excited to hear from you more about this very intriguing topic today, the imperishable path. Hare Krishna, and please everyone at your respective homes chant the Maha Mantra to welcome Maharaj for our Sunday program. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
A devotee is recognized by Lord Krishna as his intimate, connected to the heart of the Lord, and always seeking the welfare of the Lord, and the Lord always seeking the welfare of the devotee. Such is the intimate relationship, and this relationship has been forgotten, but it was never get lost. It was never lost, and therefore Krishna is after us. All the living entities, sarva yonishu kaunteya murtayanti sambhavanti ja tasham mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. The relationship with every living entity as the seed-giving father has been already established. Now, how come this original relationship can be severed? Prabhupada calls it that we have a bad dream. And in the bad dream, we see our head even severed. But actually, it is never. One cannot see his head ever severed from the body, because then it is impossible to see when the head is not there. So this relationship has been forgotten in a dreaming stage, which is a temporary stage. But according to the calculation of the time factor of the creation, sustenance, and dissolution, this is quite astonishingly very great period for a tiny living entity. Why it is tiny living entity? A spark and fire has tremendous gulf of difference. It is the spark is very insignificant, and the fire is considered to be infinite. So infinitely insignificant and infinitely significant, both are understood to be of the greatest distance. But if we become Krishna conscious, we are afforded a process which takes us immediately very close to Krishna. And if we keep from our part the closeness with Lord Shri Krishna, then our life becomes devoted for Lord Krishna's pleasure. We come to know what are his opinions about our fantasy, our dreaming state, what are his opinion to eradicate them and regain our consciousness back, being part and parcel. We become the same consciousness. So in human form of life, Srila Prabhupada brought this movement called Krishna consciousness movement, where we are taught how to develop Krishna's consciousness, not our consciousness. We lived so much pretentious life in our consciousness. We try to forget Krishna, but yet somehow or another, by some good fortune, which is due to unknown devotional merits, that somehow or another we came into the Krishna conscious movement originated by Srila Prabhupada. But he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated this movement. Origin is Krishna himself. But those who are Krishna conscious, such authorities have made it possible to reach towards the modern day times in order to benefit people at large. So this is the matchless gift. It is unheard of it before in our times. It was not giving us a clue, even though we became familiar with Lord Shri Krishna's pastimes and activities. But we failed to know him because we took for granted that he may be belonging to India. He may be belonging to Gujarat when he came as the king of Dwarka, or he may be belonging to be born in Mathura, Vrindavan as a cowherd boy. But this nomenclature of the identification of the Supreme Absolute Truth was not given to us. Even though we were very, very apt by tradition to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, but no one except by the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami explained what is meant by Ete Chansa Kalapuransa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyari Vyakulam Yogam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Indriyari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. He comes every millennium to establish not only religious principles, but he also comes to establish the lost relationship and put us on the right track. So in Kali Yuga, for our advantage, Vyasadeva himself becomes subjugated to the despondency in executing religious principle, even though he was an empowered incarnation of the Lord. Yet he was not pleased with his work. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. Vyasadeva would not have been successful without the energization of Lord Shri Krishna. So when he executed, then we accepted him that he is the incarnation of Shakti Avesha Avatar, means he was empowered incarnation. Empowerment also comes in different ways because Krishna's energies are variegated. So all these energies can empower in a particular field of empowerment. And Vyasadeva was literary incarnation. So that has been acknowledged worldwide. So Lord Srila Vyasadeva happened to be Shakti Avesh avatar, and he kept the plight of the people of Kali Yuga, that they will be by the effect of Krishna's own time and devastations, they will be very much perturbed, and they will lose the composure of any sanity. So Vyasadeva wrote in time the Srimad Bhagavatam. It was not for the first time that he was writing. It was written in other ages also. And in the story of Markandeya Rishi, he is understood that he also had an opportunity to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So, after all, Srimad Bhagavatam is the beautiful narration about Lord Shri Krishna, Bhagavan. And it explicitly, explains what is the meaning of Bhagavan as the cause of all causes. And great personalities like Lord Shiva and Brahma also extol this particular understanding. So he is not an ordinary incarnation. Rather, he is the one who incarnate in all the millennium, in every species of life. So that makes a complete difference in understanding the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So, we are very fortunate that Prabhupada translated Srimad Bhagavatam, and there was no Srimad Bhagavatam being translated by Mayavadi or Advaita Siddhantavadi, because it will completely defy them, and they were scared to touch the subject matter of Krishna's appearance and activities. So we are told that it is extremely important to understand the esoteric truth given by Sukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam about Lord Shri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ete chansakala punsa bhagavas Krishnastu bhagavana swayam indriyari vyakulam lokam mrudanti yuge yuge. The Supreme Absolute Truth Personality of Godhead is Krishna, while all other forms of Him are Ansh and Kalas. So, in the listings of different, types of incarnations that Vyasadeva was describing, that rather exceptionality is always given as the origin of all incarnations of Krishna is Krishna himself. That is called Bhagavana Swayam. We know all incarnations, we call them Bhagavan. So Swayam Bhagavan, they are there. But who is Bhagavana Swayam, that is more important to understand. All the incarnations themselves are in the category of transcendental personality. And they are Bhagavan, fine. But there are many who is the origin, and he remains still Bhagavan. So Krishnastu Bhagavana Swayam is the aphorism, becomes the cardinal truth and what you call Mahavakya for any treatise, any philosophy to develop further and our in our line of disciplic succession, Srila Rupa Goswami, is glorifying this cardinal truth, and attributes it to Sukadeva Goswami, has perceived the absoluteness of the absolute truth, and none other from whom everything emanates is also of his absolute nature. So in this way, the Shastras are very authoritative, very pramanik, means they are honest to declare the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, as the absolute truth personality of Godhead. That is Bhagavan Swayam. So on that basis, we have to systematically study the books given by Srila Prabhupada, which establishes the supremacy of Lord Shri Krishna over all his incarnations. Over all his incarnations. These incarnations, they have their own dham. But these dham are also in categorization under the, as the incarnations are. So, we need to ascertain the absolute truth about Lord Shri Krishna, one without second opinion. And we will become enlivened if we study scrutinizingly. And then by keeping this subject in mind, it brings us pretty closer to Lord Shri Krishna. And therefore we request everybody to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books and purchase Prabhupada's books. If you purchase more, then you can distribute more. So it becomes the real Sankirtan movement that supports our program. And books have been so much authoritative that without textbooks, you can't learn the fundamental principles. You cannot learn without the reference of the textbooks of Krishna consciousness anything about Lord Shri Krishna. Even though you may be familiar of this with the event, it is said that we may abuse them as the literature are abused. We do not give prime importance, but the same literature which have been exposed to, one who is getting suffocated, then naturally it becomes a valuable tool for him. So our traditional system became suffocated, and by Krishna's grace, it is through the revival of the ISKCON movement, we see the importance of our transcendental literature is of utmost, help in establishing with reverence the meaningful understanding of the literatures. So we request everybody to purchase this literature and become, readers with proactive application of Krishna consciousness, and you will find more and more benefit. So you can become life member and contribute towards this activity, which will flourish soon with your help. And at the same time, again, you can donate your money with full support for the institution where the temple becomes the center of Lord Krishna's worship, and that will be a very meaningful contribution towards establishing the temple in Austin, Texas. So with these two requests, I will humbly urge all of you to participate wholeheartedly and make it possible that within 2-3 years, we'll have a tangible progress in this direction of establishing our institute, at the same time establishing the educational system of within the temple premises. If we are getting educated on the practical basis how to re-establish our lost relationship with Lord Krishna by different methodologies of deity worship and serve him for, as he expressly told to Arjun, that how a person can invest all his life in his service. So the technicality of the service is taught by expert, renounced teachers. So there is no anticipation of the result except pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. So we need to develop this confidential aspect which cannot be bought in the market about Krishna consciousness, that is available in ISKCON Austin. That is our Austin Krishna's institution. So please support your own temple, and you'll be inspired to do more and more direct services to Lord Shri Krishna. So thank you very much. I would like to stop here. Anybody has any question or comments? You are welcome.
Thank you, Maharaj. If anybody has any questions, please use the hand raise feature on Zoom, or you can type your question in the chat and we can unmute you. If you would like to ask the question live, just raise your hand, please. Okay, Raghavendra Balaji Prabhu has a question. Prabhu, you can unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Have a question about you described reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Is that considered as imperishable path, or the process of how to become Krishna conscious is the imperishable path?
That's correct. And Prabhupada has no other interest but to reveal this imperishable path in his books. So there is no differentiation. Every activity in Krishna consciousness is contributing to imperishability, because it is an eternal religion, imperishable religion. Only thing that we forgot and we are reviving, it doesn't come in a new package. For those who are intimate disciples or intimate devotees of Srila Prabhupada, for them, they became more devoted because they saw the imperishability. Even though there was no impediment of caste, creed, sex or any orientation, nationality. So this is important to understand that it is imperishable. The soul doesn't have any caste. Soul is directly part and parcel. He is Krishna's part and parcel, not any belonging to any caste or creed. Yet there are foolish people who are making or trying to argue that Krishna was born as a Kshatriya, but then he became Vaishya. It means, there was no importance, so one can change. Even in Kali Yuga, Shudra can become Brahman. And Shudra can prefer to become Vaishnava first and then Brahman. And that's why Srila Prabhupada was successful and putting the high standard of Brahminical nature to be invested in the Western devotees.
Srila Prabhupada's God brothers didn't like the idea of getting the foreigners to become Brahmanas. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, those who are not situated on the transcendental platform, they may attempt an evaluation based on physical or biological or material norms. It means those who are evaluating that way, they are discredited. But Prabhupada was not discredited. Rather, he proved himself, that his status was far beyond caste, creed, or nationality, or sex. Krishna consciousness is non-denominational. Okay?
Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Devotees, anybody else has any questions? Please use the hand raise feature if you have. Doesn't look like there are any more questions at this time. Maharaj, would you like to lead Narsingha prayers?
Yeah. No. Okay. Namaste Narasimhaya
Namaste.
Praladaladaine Hiranyakashi Urvaksha Shilatanakanakaranje Ito Nrsimho Parato Nrsimho Yato yami tato Nrsimho Bahe Nrsimho Rida He Nrsimho Nrsimhamadin Sharanam Prapadye Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakham Naduta Sinham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringram Vishavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Aduta Singham Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Shinga Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Jagat Guru Vishnu Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. Your class reminded me of the encouragement from the days back in Albany when the first time I had a good fortune of coming in your association.
Yeah.
Where one of the first classes that I attended in person with you was always encouraging about reading books and distributing books. And today, your topic, I did not know what to expect with the topic of imperishable path, but it was again in the line of my first meeting with you almost 20 years ago in Albany. So thank you so much for encouraging us about reading Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a Bhadra campaign that is going on right now, and this is another yet opportunity as a reminder for all of us to not only read Srimad Bhagavatam, but also share our good fortune with others in distributing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, like
That's
you're
correct.
encouraging.
And by your encouragement, devotees are doing some wonderful services in Albany now. So Yugal Kishore Prabhu will be coming and helping us too. There are certain devotees and they acquired, or they are in process of acquiring place in Nectary area where the prices are little down, but the area is upcoming, and we got a 30 parking place property and meager amount of $115,000.
That's so wonderful.
Yes.
Yugal Kishore Prabhu is the original pioneer of the Albany program. He was the
Right.
first. He was the first one over there.
I'm calling him back.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That place will be success.
I think few days before he was in Oklahoma City working with my disciples to establish there. And then he will also come to Austin, Texas. So you invite him and he'll be a good inspiration.
Yes, thank you so much, Maharaj, for reinforcing that. He has been here a couple times. Gopal Chandra Prabhu is here, is a dear friend, and he comes here. He has been on our Zoom Sangha also. So we are eagerly looking forward for these traveling restrictions to lift off a little bit on our community, so we can start traveling again and having personal association of each other.
If there is no corona, I will come.
Yes. Yes, Maharaj. We would like you to stay safe and healthy wherever you are.
Hare Krishna.
Until this situation gets better. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I'm going to switch over to the announcements now. You're welcome to stay on, but if you have other things to do, Maharaj, please feel free to drop off as your schedule permits. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So, dear devotees, let me just